Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to Physics Concepts. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic that reveals the beautiful, wave-like nature of light: interference. It sounds complex, but I promise by the end of this video, you'll see it in a whole new, light. Before we get started, if you enjoy making physics easy to understand, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world and helps us create more content just like this. So, what exactly is light interference? Imagine you're at a calm pond and you toss two small pebbles into the water, close to each other. You'll see ripples, or waves, spreading out from where each pebble landed. Where the crest of one wave meets the crest of another, they combine to make an even bigger wave. And where the crest of one wave meets the trough of another, they cancel each other out, and the water becomes flat. This pattern of reinforcement and cancellation is exactly what we call interference. Light, being a wave, does the very same thing. When two or more light waves meet, they can either add up to create brighter light or cancel each other out to create darkness. This resulting pattern of bright and dark bands is what we call an interference pattern. It's a direct and stunning piece of evidence that light behaves like a wave. Now, for this beautiful interference pattern to show up, we can't just use any two light bulbs. We need special kinds of light sources called coherent sources. So, what makes a source coherent? Two main things. First, the light waves they produce must have the same frequency, which also means they have the same wavelength. Think of it like two singers trying to sing in harmony. They need to sing the exact same note. For light, this means the waves have the same color. A red light wave can't properly interfere with a blue light wave to create a stable pattern because their frequencies are different. The second condition for coherence is that the waves must have a constant phase difference. This sounds a bit technical, but let's break it down. The phase of a wave tells you where it is in its cycle at any given moment. Is it at a crest, a trough, or somewhere in between? For two waves to have a constant phase difference, it means the relationship between their cycles doesn't change over time. Imagine two people skipping rope side by side. If they start in sync and maintain the same rhythm, the distance between their ropes will always be the same at any point in their jump. They have a constant phase difference. If one person randomly speeds up or slows down, the relationship is lost and they become incoherent. Regular light bulbs, like the ones in your room, are incoherent sources. Why? Because they produce light from trillions of atoms, all emitting light waves independently and randomly. It's like a huge crowd of people all talking at once. It's just noise, with no consistent pattern. The waves they emit have random phases and frequencies, changing millions of times per second. So even if interference happens for a tiny fraction of a second, it changes so rapidly that our eyes can't perceive it. We just see a uniform glow. Lasers, on the other hand, are a perfect example of a coherent light source. In a laser, all the atoms are stimulated to emit light waves that are perfectly in sync, same frequency, same phase relationship. That's why laser light is so intense and focused, and why it's ideal for demonstrating interference. So, how do we create interference without two separate lasers? The classic way is through an experiment that has become a cornerstone of physics: Young's double-slit experiment. In the early 1800s, a brilliant scientist named Thomas Young devised a simple yet ingenious setup. He took a single light source and shone it onto a screen that had two very narrow parallel slits cut into it. Because the light passing through these two slits originated from the same single source, they acted as two perfectly coherent sources. It's like taking one water wave and splitting it into two smaller waves. They are guaranteed to be in sync. When the light from these two slits travels towards a second screen placed further away, the waves spread out and overlap. In the areas where the path taken by the light from both slits is the same length, or differs by a whole number of wavelengths, the crests meet crests and troughs meet troughs. This is called constructive interference, and it creates a bright spot, or a bright fringe on the screen. Conversely, in the areas where the path from one slit is longer than the other by exactly half a wavelength, or 1.5, 2.5, and so on, the crest from one wave meets the trough from the other. They cancel each other out. This is called destructive interference, and it results in a dark spot, a dark fringe. The result is a stunning, predictable pattern of alternating bright and dark bands on the screen. This was the definitive experiment that proved the wave nature of light. Let's summarize the necessary conditions for us to observe a clear and stable light interference pattern. First, the light sources must be coherent. This, as we've discussed, means they must emit waves of the same frequency and have a constant phase difference. Using a single source and splitting its light, like in the double-slit experiment, is a great way to achieve this. Second, the two sources must be very close to each other. If they are too far apart, the fringes in the interference pattern will be so tightly packed together that we won't be able to distinguish them. They will just blur into a uniform light. Third, the sources of light should be very narrow, essentially point sources. If the sources are wide, they act like a collection of many small sources, and each pair creates its own interference pattern. All these patterns overlap and wash each other out, destroying the clarity of the fringes. That's why we use very narrow slits. And finally, for a high contrast pattern, meaning very bright brights and very dark darks, the amplitudes of the two interfering waves should be equal or nearly equal. If one wave is much stronger than the other, it will overpower it. Even when they are out of phase for destructive interference, the cancellation won't be complete and the dark fringes won't be truly dark. So, to recap the four key conditions: 1. The sources must be coherent. 2. They must be close together. 3. They should be narrow or point-like. And 4. The waves should have similar amplitudes. When all these conditions are met, you get a beautiful, clear demonstration of the wave nature of light. You can actually see interference effects in everyday life. Have you ever noticed the rainbow-like colors on a soap bubble or in a thin film of oil on a wet road? That's interference. Light reflects off both the top and bottom surfaces of the thin film of soap or oil. These two reflected waves travel slightly different distances. Depending on the thickness of the film and the angle you're looking from, certain colors, certain wavelengths of light, undergo constructive interference and become visible, while others undergo destructive interference and are cancelled out. This is why the colors swirl and change as the bubble moves or as you change your viewing angle. The thickness of the film is changing, which changes the path difference for the light waves. It's the same physics principle from the double-slit experiment, just playing out on the surface of a bubble. So the next time you see those shimmering colors on a puddle or watch your kids play with bubbles, you can smile and know you're witnessing quantum physics in action. You're seeing the direct result of light, behaving as a wave, with different wavelengths interfering to create the beautiful spectrum of colors you see. It is a wonderful reminder that the fundamental principles of physics are not just confined to a lab. They are all around us, creating the beauty we see in the world every single day. That brings us to the end of our discussion on coherent sources and light interference. I hope this has helped demystify these concepts and shown you just how elegant the wave nature of light truly is. From the foundational double-slit experiment to the vibrant colors on a soap bubble, interference is a key phenomenon that shapes our understanding of light. If you found this video helpful and learned something new today, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Don't forget to subscribe to Physics Concepts and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next exploration into the amazing world of physics. If you have any questions or ideas for future topics, drop them in the comments below. I love reading them and getting your feedback. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.